Thank you very much for coming on. Hey, hey, Austin. So you and I have been talking a little bit lately about some current events, many different arenas. Locally, in particular, there are many free speech issues that are really on the horizon that we're going to tap into and touch upon from the very get-go. And I wore a shirt. Frank Zappa. He's not smoking anything. He's just holding the tip of his mustache. He was one of our greatest American composers, and he was also one of our greatest adherents and proponents for free speech, the First Amendment. Some may remember him back in the 80s with Dee Snider and other guys talking against the PMRC and Tipper Gore and all those folks that were really trying to strangulate different expression through music that was being deemed not nice for whatever reason, NC-17, and there were different reasons for that, but they came out in support of the First Amendment, and they really obliterated Tipper and all these women that were trying to make an argument against this music and this right to express in by these means. And so again, I think they struck a real good blow for the First Amendment and our right to express ourselves by that effort. And so
I was going to say that the PMRC, unfortunately...
Do you remember that?
Yes, they went after Jello Biafra and the dead Kennedys.
Right.
And they sued Jello Biafra and for the album called Frankenchrist, and within there was a poster of a painting by H.R. Geiger called Penis Landscape. And a young girl bought it for her brother, and they sued Jello Biafra for the distribution of pornography to minors. And they were able to bankrupt Jello Biafra, and that in essence caused the death of the dead Kennedys.
And Alternative Tentacles Records, for that matter, as well, right?
No, they're still around.
Oh, okay.
Because after the dead Kennedys folded, Biafra started his spoken word career.
Right, which he's still doing, and he performs here in Texas on occasion. That's a good point you bring up, and I appreciate you adding to that aspect of that. So that being the case, we want to again discuss some aspects of free speech and the First Amendment that seems to be definitely some change in the air, to say the least. And we don't have a graphic, but there is going to be a meeting, a producer-style meeting, that and the public and everybody that is remotely interested in access television will have the opportunity to go down to this meeting, which is Tuesday the 10th, which is going to be a mere handful of days from now, next Tuesday. This is 1156 Hargrave, Hargrav, Hargrave, starting at 7 p.m., supposedly till around 10. And this is in East Austin. This is a little further east of the Access Studios, if folks know where the Access Television Studios are. Just a little bit further east on Rosewood, you'll find the venue for this. And if you'll tune in to other Access shows, I would say Trailer Park Show, Monday, 7 p.m., Channel 10, and also Bob Dacey's A Simple Truth, Monday, 8 p.m., Channel 16. You'll probably get more information, more specifics, more details, more updates as to what's actually going on. And so if anybody's interested in taking a look at having a participation in that meeting at any level, again, the public's invited, everybody's invited, producers, again, everybody's invited. So 1156 Hargrave, starting at 7 p.m., and I would say stay tuned to Access for more information if you're interested in attending the meeting and just finding out kind of what's going on in that respect.
I think everyone should get down there and, get a large amount of people there to express their, opinions on Access Television and what they think about it.
That's my hope, because this is our very good free speech venue. I mean, we've been able to do several shows and bring out some information that we thought was relevant and valid and of interest to folks, hopefully. And that is my hope, certainly. People do what you will, but if you have any interest and you like Access and you like the shows down here, just to be current and up to date on what's going on. And again, showing numbers is always helpful, because that keeps things on the up and up as much as possible. It keeps things on the table, Mabel, as much as we can, and hopefully we have all the cards are shown, and so we'll know what we have to deal with to the full extent. And so also the Telecom communication meeting, I happened to notice that you were down there as well supporting.
Yes, I was.
And I really want to thank folks for everybody that took the time to go down to the telecommunications meeting and express their opinion. again, sometimes the meeting to some folks took on a belligerent tone, and I'll get into that in a second. But nonetheless, people are very passionate about this, and make no mistake, you're going to see people really speaking from the heart on this topic in the upcoming future. Those that were just seeing the graphic, that's for the philosophical meeting that we're having this upcoming. Thanks, Chris, for bringing it back up. Opal Divines are each and every third Wednesday. We here at Esoteric Science Roundtable and the fine folks at Their 4 a.m., Jeff Contreras and crew, host metaphysical/philosophical meeting upstairs, Opal Divines, 8 p.m., again, every third Wednesday, which for August will fall on the 18th. And we encourage everybody to come down. Again, just a free, relaxed forum, very casual. If you're interested in talking to us about topics you've seen on the show, or you have something of interest that you want to speak about, or you just want to come down, hang, and be a wallflower, that's entirely your prerogative. On occasion, you see people like Darcy Kuntz hanging out down there, and they are happy to fill you in on things that they're involved in and current things that they have going on in their areas of endeavor. So again, I encourage people to consider coming down to that event as well. Again, it's absolutely free to the public, 8 p.m. Every third Wednesday, which is the 18th this month. Again, getting back to the telecommunications meeting, it got somewhat rowdy in some folks' opinion, but again, people are going to speak passionately about this. And so next I want to show quickly this article that was put on to, well, maybe I won't be showing it anytime too soon. There we go, psych. Here we go. Well, where are we? Okay, I just want to show the title, really. Access of Evil. You can see the play on words, Access of Evil. This is an article that appeared in yesterday's Austin Chronicle and written by Mike Clark Madison. And so the tone of the article, different people are going to take different slants on it. So I'm going to read one sentence because this pertains to us, and so I'm going to make a quick comment about this. The guy is talking about his view on how the three channels are going to pan out, what's going to happen with the future of the three current access channels, and he's saying now I'm agnostic on the wisdom of turning the three ACTV channels into an arts and education channel featuring AMN, an inspirational channel, and a free speech channel. It would certainly disrupt the current free-for-all flow where truckers and hookers and Sunday Best and the Esoteric Science Roundtable can all appear on the same channel on the same day. And then it goes on to add a counterpoint to that, an argument that may counter that previous statement. But nonetheless, I brought that up because I don't know if I'm getting, paid props and adoration or what the case may be, but nonetheless, I want to thank Mr. Mike Clark Madison for mentioning the show in his article. I don't know if he's being facetious or if he's, giving us the hookup, but nonetheless, the point he makes is that Austin Access Television is very eclectic. It's a mix, it's a potpourri, it's a hodgepodge of a bunch of different shows from a lot of different perspectives from people in the Austin area that come down, do their gig to get their producers' licenses, and they put on the programming, like you're watching this evening, and other shows that you may be familiar with that you enjoy viewing on occasion, live or otherwise. And so that is something that that is an endearing thing to me about Access, is that there is so much diversity on Access, and I think that's a good thing. Darcy, you read the article. What were some of the points that you took away from it? I
thought it was a very negative article from this Mike Clark Madison. He was attacking Alex Jones. He referred to him Lizard King of Cable Access, and frothing rabid dog freakout. When Alex spoke at that communications meeting,
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty exciting to be there. Alex knows what he's talking about. He's very smart,
Mm-hmm.
and he's very passionate about this because for
Without
him,
question.
it's a loss of free speech. It's
Mm-hmm.
it might be just a loss of one channel, but he sees the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
But Clark Madison was very rude to Alex. He even refers to him in not very nice manner of words I can't even repeat.
Okay.
But
he's 110% of that particular term, if that's what you're referring to.
Yes.
And he's also 90% poser, according to Mike Clark Madison. And so certainly some are going to automatically see that or feel that there's a bias to the article against one particular producer and his particular actions in this arena.
Well, it's more than that, because throughout the whole article, he refers to Alex Jones and just slams Alex Jones. But instead of making this about a commentary on,
The facts.
what's really going on, it's a personal attack on Alex Jones, and that's not right. He even, Axis of Evil is a takeoff of one of Alex Jones's latest movies. I think that people should actually call the Austin Chronicle and let them know what they feel about that. Their phone number is 454-5767, or you can write an email to them at mail@austinchronicle.com. I don't think they should get away with this, because it's personal attack on Alex for.
So just because it's under the heading news in the Chronicle, you feel that it should be a bit more unbiased in its presentation of the information?
I think that it should have been about what's going on with the access television. What's really going to be happening. That currently there's 4 channels. There's 10, 11, 15, and 16. And 15 is the Austin Music Network. And by the sounds of it, they have 4 channels, and they're going to be getting rid of 1 to make it 3. So they'll have a arts and entertainment, which will be
pay to play kind of. You have to get sponsors. You have to be
a
approved.
free speech one, and an inspirational channel. And one of them they're giving up to Time Warner, that's worth $5 million, just a channel alone, and they're giving it up to Time Warner. And I think that the article doesn't really get into a lot of detail of what's going on. Everyone's kind of talked that there's no information about what's going to be happening with the channel, but there's money being paid out. There's stuff that it's progressed a lot further than what they're really letting on, because
without question, question,
and they're being very secretive about it. Even in the council meeting when they had the board of directors for ACTV.
You mean the locked door producers meeting?
No, the one at the City Hall there.
The Telecom meeting.
Yeah, the Telecom meeting.
Yes.
None of them really put forth any detail of what was happening.
No, I watched almost the entire Telecom meeting myself. I was fortunate enough to view it live, and no, there wasn't a whole lot of meat or substance as far as the potential plans or what's on the table or anything that's in writing. As Stefan Ray really hit home when he spoke, there's nothing substantial in writing, tangible, that we can look at, assess the parameters of what they're proposing for us, and the criteria that are going to have to be met to be on the Arts and Entertainment channel. In addition to the sponsorship aspect of it, we don't have any clue yet.
Yeah, they mentioned that it's going to be G-rated.
Well, G, that's a relative term still, because there's a body that rates G as opposed to PG, and so that's still. That's still somebody arbitrarily saying, oh, this is this or this is that, and having to put parameters and terms on it. And so, again, we have no clue what that's going to be. We're going to have a new season starting in 2 months, and so, who's to say? We've got 2 months to, I guess, polarize ourselves and kind of get ourselves ditched into the sand and get battle ready, in a sense, to see what's coming. I'm not saying that we need to be get all out of hand, but just be prepared. Keep a vigilant stance and attitude.
I think. Sorry.
No, that's all.
I think definitely keep a level head, but we need to be on top of this to find out what's really going on, because next thing you know, that things are going to happen where there's not going to be any channel.
Perhaps. I mean, incrementally things are changing. That's without question. As to how it's going to change, nothing's really been laid out that we've been able to the public has been able to have access to, or the producers here.
Well, I know that in the meeting there, Stefan Ray,
yes.
he requested copies of all the emails, communications that went on between the counselors, Austin Music Network, and Access Television. But have you heard anything what's happened with that, Corey?
No, I have not. I would say, just kind of stay tuned as far as that goes. And if you're going to make it to the meeting, you'll probably hear a bit more about that as well. And
also Virginia, who's a loyal viewer of your show.
And others.
And Jeff's show. She actually was there, and she presented her, came forward, and it was great to see her.
Well, what she spoke about was, why do we not have on the scroll for Time Warner for AMN, they were able to tell you what programs are on and when. If you go to the Access website, it's going to give you about a week and a half of programming. So they already know for about a week and a half in advance, if you go to the online, what the programming is. They know what the content of that programming is, and so by virtue of that, they could easily put a little blurb. They could put the show title, a little blurb, or a little rating, or something along those lines to let folks know, okay, this is something I may not want to view right now. There might be some way to consider something along those lines, but to have the shows listed and the times that the shows are on would be a big help, I would think, in order to help people to know. Then they could censor what they didn't want to see by virtue of knowing what was on and when, at a relatively real-time basis, as opposed to having to have access to a computer in order to tap that information, which I think should be readily available through our 35-cent contribution per cable bill for each of you out there that are viewing. I think that's not too much to ask. And quite frankly, I would be willing to pay, personally, myself, 40 cents per bill for improvements around here. That's just me. So,
Jim wants to talk on about what you're talking about.
So I would, that's another point of consideration that would help perhaps, give folks more ideas, more choices, and more information about Access so that they can make informed choices on a real-time basis for the most part.
I think, it'd be nice if they got a little more organized and, had the, on, listings of when shows are going to be on, because that would help a lot, to get loyal viewers and, when things are going on. Because a lot of times, I'm not sure what's coming on when.
No one is, unless you have access to the computer, and then
Right.
you have relatively some idea. But this article, ultimately, it brings up an interesting point that also the city has Channel 6, which is a city that the channel which broadcasts telecom meetings, city council, county commissioner, and all that fun stuff. And this idea that Mr. Clark Madison had was to drop a little AMN love onto Channel 6, maybe about 10 hours a day or so, and that's perfectly fine by me. Also, I do want to add, I'm not an AMN hater by any stretch. I had a guest on my show a while back, Jason McMaster. He is an inductee into the Texas Music Hall of Fame. He's been slugging it out in the music scene here in this state for ages. He's a native Texan, and I'm not sure how much that show had in him getting his own show, but he ended up getting his own show on AMN called The Hard Show. And I happened to catch a show a few weeks back, and he was lamenting that this is going to be our last show, and we may move over to Access. We don't really know, and hey, it's been a good run, that sort of thing. And I was really, it's disheartening to see my brother here in Austin doing a lot of local music, mind you, as well. Not playing a bunch of canned stuff, but focusing on local artists. Texas artists in particular, on the Hard Show, more metal-based music. But nonetheless, he had to, get a sign-off, and it ripped me up to have to see that because, he had accomplished so much, and he was in amazement that he had done 25 shows, and then, he had done a few more than that, and then that's all. So, I was really glad to see that fledgling thing coming along, and then all of a sudden, it's gone. So, another casualty to this whole insanity, I just don't know what to say. But so again, the article in the Chronicle, some may think it's a bit more biased than others, but and again, the fact that it doesn't have a lot of information, I think, is also somewhat due to the fact that there's not a lot of information available. Did you want to add any other last comments about the article before we discuss a few other items?
Oh no. Well, just about I think the way this whole process happened. I think they've known since of October of 2003 that they were going to, reformat and redistribute the channels. They should have had that come before the people, and there should have been open discussions about kind of what they wanted.
Plans they were potentially considering.
Yeah, instead of doing it back room, hotel rooms, or parking lots. Who knows where
Trunk
else.
of a car.
Right.
Insane stuff happens around this city sometimes. But yeah, that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But I think there's someone that wanted to on the phone. That
Yeah,
wanted
we will grab these calls.
Talk about what you're talking about.
Okay, let's go ahead and grab a current caller. It's been hanging on patiently. Caller, you on the air?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Corey? What's up, Darcy? How y'all doing?
Quite
Good.
good. Thanks for calling, Jim.
Hey, you mentioned this article from the Chronicle. What
did you
would
take a
we
look
do
at it?
without that bang-up journalism? What would we do?
Well, what do you think? It's a little yellow? You think it's a little biased? You think it's a little...
Well, we wouldn't know about this meeting that's at a new location on Hargrave without them, right?
Well, no, that's not actually included. I actually found that out watching Alex Jones's live show yesterday. He was holding up a little piece of paper. So I got to
So
give
they
AJ
forgot.
props. Yeah, no, these guys are not good for giving you that kind of stuff.
They can't do that.
Well, it'd be nice, but no, it's not contained in this article that I'm finding here. It's just a quick
No, it wasn't.
two-pager.
Yeah, of course, and I'm being facetious. But, at the end of that meeting, when Jackie Goodman mentioned that Channel 15 is owned by the city, they don't even know if they can give it back to Time Warner. Do you recall that at the very end of the meeting?
Not specifically, no.
So they had to ask staff to investigate that because they own it. Time Warner doesn't own it. The city owns it.
See, there are a lot of...
They're going to give it away. They don't even know if they can.
That's a frustrating part. There's a lot of proceeding ahead without the parties really even knowing how they're able to proceed. They don't really know the full details and the full, all the fine print that they have to delve into, all the legalese that they're going to have to wade through to make this a solid happening thing. I think, they're definitely struggling with that, and they were really caught off guard by the strong, support. And thanks, Jim, for you heading down there. I heard your name being called. For sure, I do remember that for a fact. Again, everybody that went down there to voice their free speech, options, and so it's again everything's up in the air right now. That's why it's good to be vigilant. That's why we're trying to keep current on this.
Yes, and thank you for announcing Tuesday. Hargrave and actually where it is, because
right,
who knows where that location is? All of a sudden, it's thrown on you. It's during Alex's show, just coincidentally.
He made a comment, and he's going to try to throw in a tape or something along that line so that he can perhaps make it down there and do a little appearance.
That article didn't even consider talking to a producer. Am I?
I don't know that anyone was.
No.
He did some quoting from the meeting.
His unbiased reporting shows through, right? Thank you, Chronicle.
Well, he did take the time to mention our show. I don't know if he's being facetious.
Okay, so that was big of him.
Well, I'm going to give him a little props because, and I know this may seem biased, but ultimately I think he does redeem himself by some of the remarks he makes at the end.
He's trying to save himself at the end. He's being
right. So the fact that he's an Alex Basher is
I guess so.
that's quite evident. That's abundantly evident. But everybody's got a dog, as they say. So I'm not going to knock him for his pick of pet. You know what I'm saying? And that's his option. That's his prerogative to feel that way.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for taking my call.
Hey, thanks, Jim. Have a lovely evening. Take care. I hope to see you soon.
Night.
Yeah, definitely. Points to be considered without question. This article, again, I think is going to stir up the hornet's nest a little bit more. It was like a late breaking thing on Alex's show. He probably would have gotten into more detail on it and picked it apart, into greater detail. I want to mention that this really is forcing the producers to come together in a real meaningful manner, and that to me is something that's a good and long overdue thing to have happen, because the producers are the ones that they take the time and trouble to come down here and offer up these offerings for the public, and so I think it's incumbent upon them, in my estimation, to be concerned, and again, just to be at the very minimum aware of the potentials and the possibilities of what's coming down the pike. An informed public is at least aware of what's going on. And discussion and discourse is how we're going to make gains. We're going to make headway by discussing, talking, and trying to gain some understanding of the whole issue. So I think that's going to allow us, again, it's allowing a lot of coming together behind the scenes, and that's the more esoteric or inner aspects that we will consider of this forcing people to come together along different lines that wouldn't normally climb into bed together in a sense. And so you can look at the Democracy Now! Folks in a manner, if you will. They're what might be perceived, liberal or left, although those terms are so useless. And then what you might, according to the false political paradigm, what is perceived of as right. And all these folks are coming together to work together and share and cooperate on these issues, and they're discussing these things. And so that, to me, is the most key fundamental aspect of this whole outcropping that's been forced upon the producers, is that it is forcing people to come together, have some discourse and discussion, and this will lead, for worst case scenario, alternate options for access television. Again, very worst case scenario. There will be free speech in Austin, Texas. There's just no question about that. As to how what fashion, what form it's going to take, that remains to be seen in the near future. So that's bringing us together in a large way. That's the inner aspects. Darcy, you as an esotericist, you as an author, historian, what are your comments on the fact that our people are coming together over these issues? And you saw from the meeting yourself, people are gathering on it.
I know that they're discussing about streamlining, turning the broadcast to the internet so that you can actually streamline the video.
They have that capacity now. They can be doing that with our show currently.
But
as we
they're
speak.
talking about it now, where they they'll do split screens and interview people, and so if shows get kicked off access here, they will be going to the internet.
Interesting.
But also, did you know, Corey, that the community television actually began in Austin, Texas, 31 years ago? The whole idea, even before Congress mandated it.
I knew we were one of the pioneers. I didn't quite realize that, so that's really impressive. And I know, I'm not really a person that's a pride type person, but you have to really appreciate the opportunity to be able to come down for an hour, prime time, live, and say anything, do anything practically that you want. Again, I censored myself earlier this evening, and I want to apologize to anybody that was trying to check out the Arab League project, that I myself aborted that mission. I decided against having some acquaintances of mine come on to perform because I thought it might perhaps ruffle a few feathers. And again, I will apologize never, never, never for anything that I ever say or present on the show. My guests, I cannot speak on their behalf. But again, the Arab League, maybe put that graphic up again because that's kind of important that I make amends for, again, something I have to take full responsibility for because...
for their show tonight that they're going to do.
Yes, they are going to be performing. It's at 10 p.m. Beerland, and the group or the rapping act, the act is Arab League, and with some friends of theirs, they're going to be hanging out. And if you want to get an idea of what you missed, and you want to chat with the Arab League and get straight from the horse's mouth their opinions about policy in the Middle East, the whole oil fiasco that's going on over there, Afghanistan, any number of issues. They're very aware and astute about these issues, and they're very concerned about how the Middle East is being run over, really, by all intents and purposes, by an out-of-control energy that's sweeping through the Middle East and is trying to create vast change. And so these guys are trying to bring attention to that issue in a very tongue-in-cheek manner. Not everyone will be able to appreciate the humor in the idea of three guys dressing up as Arabic people and speaking or rapping about Middle Eastern political, hotbed issues. So again, if you're interested in that sort of thing, if that might pique your curiosity, consider checking out the Arab League this evening, 10 p.m., Beerland, and the address is there as well. And you'll get straight from them, what their whole idea behind this is. And so there will be no uncertainty then at that point, hopefully. Okay, thanks again for that, Chris, for your help with that. So again, there's a lot of things in the oven still. The meeting, again, we want to encourage folks that we mentioned to consider. And again, this is bringing us together here in the area, which I'm really a big fan of, and I'm fond of that aspect of it. And that energy, that considering the energy behind that effort, that's the esoteric or the inner aspect of this whole Austin endeavor that we got going on. It is for no reason that the cast of characters that are in this area have assembled. And I'm really, really pleased as punch about, because we've got a wonderful, again, eclectic crowd where you've got, people from an esoteric perspective that are politically inclined and motivated, and so you're bringing a vast amount of energy. Even the show Natural Magic, the pagan-oriented store here locally, is a sponsor of Democracy Now! So again, that just goes to show the vast expanse of this effort and the wide, again, cast of characters that have become assembled in this area. Again, why are we all assembled in Austin? Why did we all end up in this area? I have some speculation about that. I think it is because this is, again, like a battle in a sense, and I don't mean, in the sense that we're going to have to fight physically, but in in a metaphorical sense, that this is a battle for very core and fundamental freedoms and human rights, and for us to truly be human and express the full potential of our humanity, which is what all esotericists, true esotericists, seek to do, is to express and enhance the utmost inner capacities, the highest aspects, the highest ideals through one's own nature, and to emphasize and enhance those qualities within oneself. And so as an esotericist, you are in this area, you are in Austin, you found your way here. Do you see as well opportunity for coming together? I mean, you obviously watch Alex's show, you're aware of his message, and you think that he has some relevance. And again, you're coming from a very, some might think that that would be an adversarial relationship, patriot versus esotericist, occultist. Those seem to not match in some people's minds.
Yeah, I think that there's a great opportunity for people to come together and do some real productive things. But we also got to keep in mind that we have to be balanced in whatever we decide to do as a group. Because if you're unbalanced, then whatever you may get involved in, you may be getting involved in the wrong stuff. But as long as you stayed center focused and you work together as a group, anything's possible. Like, one thing that's great for Alex is that he's able to he has a large community, and then he's able to bring out messages to people. For example, for the telecommunications, when he mentioned to a number of people that, to come out there, and there was 150 plus people there. The rooms were, it was just incredibly hot.
Yeah, it was overflow capacity.
Yeah, and everyone was out in the hallway there, and they had to bring a TV in there just for people that were out in the hallway.
Right, and I think that speaks volume when the numbers show up. And even on a hot day, people were fanning themselves. Everybody was sweating profusely. And so, again, I have to really thank everybody that took the time to head out there and show their support for our venue here and what we're doing down here. And so, again, the idea of centering, Darcy, we get back to the esoteric ideas. We have the physical or the energy body. We have our emotional nature. And we have our mental nature. Now, how are we going to proceed with that information? Are we going to... We have to gauge ourselves at that point. We have to look inside, man, know thyself, and think, am I just overly emotional? Do I just fly off the handle? Do I wear my heart on my sleeve? Or am I overly analytical? Do I just pick everything apart and I'm cold and clinical and I just don't care for anything, but I just want to know the whole cold hard facts? Or am I just such a carefree person that I just am worried about the physical body and, I want to party, I want to have fun, I want to do this, I want to, chase women around, or whatever the case may be. The lower natured so-called appetites, sometimes those are emphasized in the vast number of our populace. And so balance, as Darcy was saying, comes into play in that you gauge yourself and you try to estimate what it is that is out of alignment, so to speak. And you bring that back into focus, you bring it back into center, and from that calm place, that calm space, you can have discernment, you can have understanding, and you can move forward with real knowledge, with real wisdom, and an open and allowing and loving heart that will do the most and the best, and you can optimize your opportunities through those methods. And certainly you're aware of systems that allow you to pull that off. Matter of fact, you've written some books, and you wrote a book, or you edited a book recently, and that's another part of the work that's going on about current events, current work, esoteric systems that are current and valid, that allow us, from our perspective, to add to a free speech arena or whatever our areas of endeavor and effort are. We bring this knowledge to the fore, and this allows us, again, to proceed a little bit more efficiently than perhaps the person that's not so centered and not so discerning and balanced in their approach. And so, again, you're familiar with systems, and you have done some writing and editing. Do you care to speak about some of the current projects you've been involved in?
Yes, I've got a book that I edited that's it's about 1,000 pages. It's 8.5 by 11.
Whoa!
And
that's a monster.
The author is Wade Coleman. It's called Sapphires, a treatise on geomancy. And what it looks at is Greek, Hebrew, and Latin language. And the idea behind it is that each of the letters is attributed a number.
Right,
and
that's a value.
Yeah, it has a value. And then what you do is you add those up. And, for example, a number that adds up to 23, what you do is you go to the book and you find the number 23, and all the numbers that fall under 23, tend to have some similar connection.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, a cod, which is Hebrew, which means unity.
Mm-hmm.
There's another Hebrew word with same numerical value, which also means love. So that unity and love, there's a connection.
So there could be almost synonyms, or at least a good close relation between the
Yeah.
two words that you can relate to the numerical value, or the numerology, or the geomancy. Is that the term you used?
No, it's gematria,
Gematria. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's based on.
numbers and letters.
Okay, thank you.
So, yeah, and the foreword was written by Chick and Tabitha Cicero.
And they're well known for their approach to the Golden Dawn system.
Yeah, they write a lot of books on the Golden Dawn, as well as edit books by Israel Regardie.
Who we've discussed on the show previously when we've done shows on the Golden Dawn or broached that topic, and he was one of the early founders of that particular esoteric stream, which, again, we're trying to show the validity and the relevance, at least on part of the show, the tail end, to try to tie it into what we spoke about earlier, that these esoteric efforts and orders are doing good work. They're working in a not always an overt, upfront fashion. When you work with energy, sometimes you work behind the scenes, and it may seem to many that you're doing almost nothing, but in actuality, you're making things happen behind the scenes, and you're creating circumstances for yourself and ultimately others. That may be purposeful or not, but certainly my goal through my energy endeavors is to bring some harmony through conflict, in the sense that I am interested in taking the most diverse points possible and the most conflicting opinions possible, and show some convergence, show some merging, show some unity, and show some harmony through diverging expressions or opinions or fields of endeavor. And so harmony through conflict is my way to work through energy and express what I'm seeking to implement in this area, and on a larger scale as well. And so that's part and parcel of what's going on here, I think, and that's why you're seeing this unity of producers and like-minded individuals. Darcy?
So yeah, the book is limited to 22 copies,
Oh, that's what we forgot to mention. That's right.
and but it's already sold out. It's going to be available
It's not available though, right?
No,
It's not available. It's gone. But you're just
it's
speaking
going
about
to
the
be
fact that you edited.
printed. It's going to be printed.
Printed, and so the
it'll be
printing will be accomplished and finished by the end of the month. in
Yeah,
other words.
September 1st.
Okay.
But there is, I know, we sold one to a bookstore, www.wiserantiquarian.com.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody wanted
More information?
try and get that copy of the book, they can contact them. It's going to be signed by.
Well, no, they're not going to get. They can get more information, but they can't get the book, Darcy.
Well, it's going to be for sale through Wiser.
No, but that's the whole thing, Darcy. You're not following me. We're not going to encourage anybody to
Oh, yeah.
check that, except if they want information. There's no no reason to do otherwise.
Right.
But tell me about some other. Do you have any more ambitious endeavors up your sleeve?
Yeah.
1,000 pagers and such.
I've got a Golden Dawn Tarot deck coming out, a brand new one that's newly drawn by an artist called.
Okay, but what did you have to do with that?
I'm doing the book.
Oh, okay. There's a book that goes along with the deck.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
The deck's already printed,
Okay.
and it was done by Richard Stoltz,
Mm-hmm.
who is same gentleman that did the diagrams for Pat Zaleski's book.
Some people may or may not know that. It's probably
Yeah.
most don't. Another Golden Dawn.
Yeah, Golden Dawn author. And these they're pretty nice diagrams of the tarot deck. And what you do is you hand color them, and the book is going to be.
Oh, so there's some interaction involved. Huh?
Yeah, it's
You
black.
color.
It's a black and white deck that you hand color,
Okay.
and then the book is going to be about the meditation on the keys and how to color them.
Okay, that's cool. And that's, again, another practical means, an occult means by which you can improve yourself, obtain information, gain greater understanding, things of that nature. I do want to mention, though, of the 22 copies of the limited edition book that you spoke of, some copies are finding their way into, where again? The Library of Congress, certainly.
Library of Congress, one copy. The National Library of Canada.
Right.
The
And-
British Library.
Okay.
And then there's a Hermetic Library in the Netherlands.
And they're going to obtain a copy for their records as well?
Yes.
And see, that's what I want to point out, is that, this is, it's going to be there for posterity's sake, and that's it's worthy of being cataloged in that respect. Again, trying to validate the idea that these systems, they're relevant for our day and age, and that's the means by which some of us choose to work and incorporate our energies into avenues and endeavors towards, again, free speech and various projects that we're involved in. Again, I could probably use the word outreach in a sense that we try to be public, and I'll throw Jeff in the mix for a lot of things that he does as well. Jeff Contreras from Therefore I Am, that he maintains a public, personage quite a bit and makes himself available to people to help them in their journeys and to also bring some unity to this. And that, I think that's an example of us working in that arena to blend our efforts with a larger effort that's going on here in the area. And there are different means by which we're going to accomplish maintaining free speech in Austin. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at with that point, that we're going to maintain free speech in Austin. Various methods and modes that are going to make themselves available or not. As one door closes, another one opens, and we're not about constricting, we're about expanding. And so we will expand in whatever our efforts and endeavors are. And we're going to expand out to take some calls here now as well. We have some lines filled. So, Darcy, let's go ahead and grab some calls if you don't mind.
All right, not
Okay,
at all.
cool. Hello, caller, you're on the air.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Hi. I have a point a little bit about free speech and everything.
Sure, go ahead.
You want me to think just like you. You want me to talk just like you. You want me to act just the same as you do. You want me to be just another clone of you. And if I did become just another clone, what would happen to who I am? The world needs all of us for its diversity, and I'm here to learn my own truths as I experience my own life, not to just go to your own private university. Please respect who I am and who I want to be. Please give me room to move and to breathe. Give me space for me to grow and change, not just to rearrange your own thoughts and philosophy. Just saying that we all have our own thoughts and that, we need to have our space and freedom to have our thoughts, to form them, and to be able to express them.
Hey, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your comments. Have a nice evening. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Hello, caller. Line 2, you there?
SPM, the greatest of all time.
All right. Thanks for taking the time to call. That was a great call. Let's see here. Line 3, you're on the air.
Hi. Hello?
Yes, how's it going?
Last night I was watching Alex Jones' show live, and he mentioned Saudi Arabian money.
Hey, can you turn the volume on your television down real quick if you don't mind, please?
Sure. Better?
Yes.
Okay. Last night Alex Jones said he said that Saudi Arabian money was involved in this takeover scheme of Access.
I heard that as well.
He didn't elaborate on the details, and I wanted to know if you had heard any similar thing, you or Darcy.
No, just...
4 weeks of termination, Corey.
Good question, nonetheless. Thank you for reviewing. No, I hadn't heard that, and I was very intrigued by that comment. I caught that as well, and it's, I don't think he's going to be speaking, like off the cuff, just carelessly and frivolously without having found some source of information, some documentation. Can I get a close shot? Just kidding. That would corroborate or give some credence to those words. And so the potential that there is some Saudi money or investment, think about the CAFRs, the Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. Our city invests in Disney, invests in so many, it has millions and millions of dollars tied up in investments. And so the city and all its little attributes and tributaries are making money hand over fist. They just throw out a little skippy budget that's a small portion of that big, massive sum that they call the budget and show you, hey, this is what we got. Let's work with this. Oh, bond, we got to build a new school. Don't you? For the children, bond, we got to build a new school. We need $1 million, we need 8 million, 20 million, whatever. Constantly doing that. Oh, we got to have toll roads. This is coercion, to say the least. And it's... they're basically just pulling the rug over our eyes, it's a farce. It's a complete farce in every aspect. And so until enough people are willing to either not drive their vehicles or, things of that nature that will really make an impact, a noticeable impact, they're going to implement the plans for the toll roads that people are just going to have to pay with their RFID, however you say it, the radio frequency trackers on their cars that will scan as you fly by, just zip and read you, and you're hit for the charge. If you fail to get pay for it, if you don't have a tracker, then they'll have a camera to photograph your license plate, and that way they can catch up with you and let you know, hey, you blew through the check, you didn't pay your 50 cents or whatever it is. Here's $100 and something ticket. We've got to keep this system rolling, so let's have some revenue generated to keep the behemoth creeping along. It's just insanity. That's all I have to say about that. Darcy, any quick comments about that?
Nope.
Okay. Hello, caller here on the air.
SPM forever, bitch.
Right on. Now, your mom would appreciate that language, I don't believe. Next caller, you're on the line. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate your show.
Thanks.
Yours and Jeff's and Alex's too.
Right on.
But I was really interested in the, I guess it's semantics and origins of languages and stuff, like you were talking about that book earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What other places are there to find books like that besides just
Recommend some books that
bookstores?
you're aware of, Darcy. Do you know some gematria books that you would consider worthy
it's
of
Kabbalistic text. Paul Foster Case has written a number of them. But what you might want to do is go to Amazon.com or ABE.com and type in the word gematria. And
You'd probably find information that way.
Like I know that there's a
Gematria?
gematria.
Gematria.
ATIA.
Gematria.
Yeah, gematria. Yeah, but there's going to be there's a lot of texts that are or books that are out there on gematria. But you want to
Or just a quick search engine for that term.
try Google, because you can Google will give you a lot of.
Yeah, it's a
Okay,
fascinating
you don't have
field.
good
Sorry?
internet access. I mean, I'm not good at the library or something, but
Okay,
are
just,
there any stores around here that...
Well,
you just, I don't know. If you come to our meeting, and we'll be happy to chat with you about that. I would say it was one option you have, but we can't really throw out too much information as far as,
well, what I can do is I can put the bibliography on my webpage, which is www.goldendawntrust.com. But you need to give me about a day to do that, and I'll put you can go all there, and I'll put a link to to gematria, and
Okay.
I'll put a list of all the books that you can access that
Wonderful.
were utilized in putting this 1,000-page book together.
hey, wonderful, that'd be cool. That'd be very
All
cool.
right,
And
appreciate it,
that's,
guys. I really
listen,
appreciate
that's,
y'all's
hey,
work.
thanks. That's goldendawntrust.com.
.com.
Right on.
All right,
Thanks. Take care. Hello, caller, you on the air? Hello, caller? Line 3? Okay. I would appreciate you doing that, Darcy. Thanks a lot
Yeah.
for considering that. That's very cool.
Well, right now on the webpage, I have listings of Rosicrucian books and books on the Golden Dawn.
Okay, wonderful. Nothing on masonry?
Not too much on masonry, no.
Okay.
But I do have a large
Fringe.
Masonic Mason collection.
You're kidding.
My own, yeah.
No, you've got.
But I did
collection.
edit Fringe Masonry by Ella Cowell.
Right, and I have a copy of that. It's a wonderful little booklet that has a lot of information about, fringe masonry, not so much about gematria.
all the different groups that are out there.
Right. And again, to further add to the point, Darcy, that's an aspect of adding that energy. The guy calls up, he makes a request for information, we try to make it available to you guys. That's one aspect. If you don't have internet access, readily available, that's unfortunate. But again, we're just, different venues that we can approach. I mean, if there are other ways we can reach people with information, we're certainly willing to consider them. So, if you need to contact us, like at the meetings or something, you need alternative sources for information, let us know these things, and we'll try to accommodate you. We want to make information available.
Yeah, and the other thing, Corey, is if there's listeners that don't have access to the internet and they want to learn more about gematria, for the next meeting, I'll put together a printed sheet of paper that you can hand out. Maybe I'll give you a number of copies that you can hand out at the meeting.
We ought to do a full-on show in the near future on that topic, perhaps.
Yeah.
So let's give that some consideration for the future as well, because that's interesting. It's quite interesting to me as well. But yeah, thanks for that, Darcy. Really appreciate that. Golden Dawn Trust. Is there anything else you care to add about that?
No.
Just okay. Cool. Let's go grab another call. Hello, caller. You on the air?
4 weeks. 4 weeks.
That's all. Just a mere 4 weeks. 8 weeks till the next season. Well, 7. Hello, caller. You on the air? Oh, hey, you're not in jail. It wasn't you. You haven't been down to oil cans lately, have you, my friend? That's good. I'm glad to hear that. I was a little worried about you for a little while there, but I guess you're...
No, I think maybe a number of people pooled their money together
For?
to get him out of jail.
I don't know. Hey, I want to mention real quick one thing. If I can get a close shot from my producer, I'm going to have a guest on sometime in the near future. Transformative Meditation by Gail Clayton. And this is a woman that has an organization that's in North Carolina, but she's going to grace us with her presence sometime in September to speak about her work, her organization. And I met her through a guy at one of our metaphysical meetings named Yoni. And if he's viewing, I really want to thank him for giving me the hookup in this respect. And this is how these things happen. You know, it's a very serendipitous kind of thing. You just meet people you don't have any clue you're going to meet, and next thing you know, you're getting hooked up with a potential guest. So it's a lovely thing, and these synchronicities and the serendipities just are endless when you really start to tap into them and see how that ties into what's going on here in this area. Hello, caller, are you on the air?
Hi, my name is Pete. I just started listening to your show here a couple of weeks. I just want to say that both you, Darcy, and Corey are doing a wonderful job.
Thanks.
Yeah, the topic that I just turned on as I was running through my channels, I heard you guys talking about, I guess it's a term might be used as the study of phonology.
Phrenology? You're talking about the bumps on the head?
Phonology.
Oh, phonology.
Phonology, right. In linguistics, where there's a common root language or a term that, I guess what it is I was on a spiritual quest once, and I came across a book trying to understand languages. And there's a book I just want to add for your viewers out there. You might want to take a look. I don't know if you heard about it. It's called The Key. It's by John Philip Cohen, and it's addressed also upon a preface by the professor of Mediterranean Studies at Brandeis University. Person's name is Cyrus H. Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, if we seek, we will find.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
oh, yeah.
And so I think what you're projecting out there to your viewers is a wonderful outlet for people to start possibly letting go of their judgments that we have of one another and start getting back to the human basics that we're all tied into each other in so many different ways. And I've never studied phonology or linguistics. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm an engineering major, and
great.
When I started looking at it in a different context,
right.
I started letting go of those judgments and following, of course, you know, my own spiritual belief, which is the power of light and love.
Can
and there was something that happened. I'm sorry?
One quick interjection. You coming from more of a scientific or technical background, how are you able to integrate a spiritual quest with that more scientific realm? Is that something you're doing successfully?
Actually, no. See, what happened was about 5 years ago, this all occurred with the tribe of Native Americans up in northern Washington. I was working with them and I was a novice archaeologist. Mm-hmm. And I started working with them and finding artifacts and giving it to them, and that's where I started learning more about their Native American spiritual beliefs. And some wonderful things happened. I found out the area that I was at, it was really you might be considered a vortex, or were ley lines.
Right, sure.
And it's a really interesting, when you let go of your judgments to become one with energy, you start walking in the law of one. And so that's when I basically dropped my engineering background. I started on this quest for the last 5-6 years.
Okay.
And that's when I started digging into. But I just want to make one point.
Sure, please.
Outside of what you folks are doing, is that to the viewers, that if we have the potential to just let go of some of these judgments and seeing people as just humans for what they are, such as love thy neighbor as yourself, mm-hmm. and reading a book such as what sources that you're putting out, to look at through your websites and so forth, but a book such as Mr. Cohen's, which was put out, it's called The Key.
Right.
It was put out by Brandeis University sometime around 1968.
Oh, really? Wow.
What it is the overall sense that I got was appreciation for humanity, that we're all tied in so many more ways that we just happen to dig in just a little bit more. And I can't even put my finger on it, the feeling that it gives. Outside of one of humility, you might say.
Sure.
But keep up the good work, guys, and you're a joy to listen to.
Okay,
thank
Darcy.
you. I just wanted to make a quick point. The Wade Coleman, the writer of the book on Sapphire Sapphires, which is the book of sapphires, is an engineer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, you know, we dive into all sorts of things in life. One out of material aspects, because due to society's demands, we have to survive. and then we find other ways where we can survive in just being a service to
If you're
humankind
looking and you're
itself.
asking, yeah, you're going to find. Thanks very much for that. I really appreciate it. If you're, as you say, if you're asking and you're looking and you're seeking, and you open yourselves up to these things, you're going to find things are going to come into your environment that you're going to have probably some difficulty processing. But as the more you open and allow yourself to do this, you can divorce yourself from just the hard and fast rules that supposedly we have to play by. Again, I want to remind folks about the Beerland event. I chose not to have the Arab League on, unfortunately, my own decision, my own censorship. So if anybody's interested, they can check out that message from the Arab League guys this evening at 10 p.m. at Beerland. Darcy, I want to thank you for being a pinch hitter and filling in at the last minute, man. You're a good guy, man, and you're true. In the spirit of brotherhood, you truly embody that in your life, and I'm really humbled by that, your example. So I appreciate you coming along and helping out and all the work that you do in the arena, in the area, and showing your support with the free speech stuff too. That's very important, and I'm glad you're up in arms about it as much as we are, because I think it's right and deserving to have attention paid to it, that we consider these things. Check out Therefore I Am, Tuesdays, 10 p.m., Channel 16, Reality Expander, Thursdays, 10 p.m., Channel 16. I want to thank all the fine folks out in the Austin viewing area that have tuned in, and sorry about Arab League, and I'm sorry, you guys. We'll catch up with you some other time. Thanks, Darcy. Thanks to my producer, Chris, for commanding the helm of the Starship Esoterica.